We welcome you to Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. Lax Sports Network proud to present World Lacrosse Super Sixes. We kick off 3 days of lacrosse with the host country, the reigning World Games gold medalist Canada, taking on England. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for making us part of your Friday evening. Travis Eldridge with you here on LSN. This should be a lot of fun. We've got Canada and England to kick off 3 days of sixes lacrosse. If you are unfamiliar with this version of this sport, it is fast, it is exciting, and it is really, really quick. There are only draws at the beginning of each quarter. We've got 8-minute quarters, running time after goals. The goalie then just quickly restarts play, and we are back in action. So if you blink, you very well may miss something. If you didn't watch the World Games over this summer in Birmingham, Alabama, you are in for quite the treat here today. Let's take a look at these lineups that we have for these two teams. As you would expect, with only 6 players on the field per team at a time, the rosters are smaller than you're used to in the field game. England has a number of players that represented either England in the World Championships this year or Great Britain in the World Games this summer, so we've got plenty of talent on their side. Canada, a team that has some of those players that represented the Canadians, whether it was in the World Championships or the World Games this summer, but also kind of a young flair to this Canadian roster here in the sixes format. You see the roster of players here. Erica Evans, of course, stands out. Player who was a standout at Canisius, then transferred to Maryland from Peterborough, Ontario. And Cam Halsell, the goalie from Stony Brook, is in net for the Canadians. You see the rest of the roster, a bunch of Division I talent on that roster as well.
Let's go, Canada!
And it's the Canadians that'll start with this. 30-second possession clock. Another thing that makes this quick. Team Canada in the white pennies, England in the red uniforms. First look at Canadians' offensive set. That ball goes out over the end line, and it's an early turnover. Emily Chandler gets the start in goal for England, one of a couple of goalies that England brought here to the Super Sixes. This is Emily Gray, number 10 in red.
Go, Cameron. Come on, Cameron!
I already mentioned Cameron Halsell, the Stony Brook goalie, in net for Canada. And she makes an early save, resets the shot clock to 30. That ball stays in for Julie Wise, and so the possession stays to England. However, that ball would have gone over the end line on a missed shot. Unlike what you would normally see in the field game, it's not the closest to get it. That is, as you just saw right there, a turnover. So Halsell goes back to grab it, and it's Canada's ball. Here's Seanley Wallace out of British Columbia, currently playing for the University at Albany after playing for a couple of years at Oregon. Player goes tumbling, ends up in the stick of Chandler, and she goes for the long outlet pass. Up ahead is Megan Whittle, the former Terp, but Halsell comes out of the crease and makes a nice play. Ball loose in the midfield. Quickly ahead comes England. No numbers for Whittle. Kick saved by Halsell. Push here on the near sideline as that one was headed out of play. And Lucy Devine will get the possession for England. Splitting the defense, bounce shot, another save by Halsell. She stopped Alice Ripper. Already 3 saves for the Canadian keeper. These teams coming together. Each of them will play at least 3 games of the course of the weekend. As it's deflected away. Save for Chandler, low shot clock. Canada had to put something on Cage, and Chandler comes up with the stop. So the goalie's standing tall here. Just about 3 minutes into this opening quarter. Liv Thomas passed a little errant, and that's out of bounds, so it'll go right back to Canada. Substitutions on the fly, as you can see. Shanley Wallace. On this near side, it's Alex Matsuoka. She gives it up. Driving in, Child, another save. Chandler up to the challenge. Annabelle Child plays collegiately at Harvard. Couldn't get that one to go.
Honestly, we can't complain. September was beautiful.
Ella Cohen with a nice move. And now a poke check takes it away from Gray. Got to quickly get a shot on frame, and another save by Halsell. She has been terrific. Member of Canada's World Cup team this summer. Erica Evans turned back. She gives it up. Elena Williams. Strong move on our first goal. Megan Kinna, former Northwestern Wildcat, gets Canada on the board to make it 1-0. But as you can see, no time to celebrate. Got to quickly get back on defense. And that is deflected out of England's stick right into the stick of Halsall. Ontario native. Last year in her third season at Stony Brook, splitting time for the Seawolves. Started her college career at Rutgers. She's off to a great start here. Almost a great handle by Matsuoka. Instead, ends up in the stick of Chandler. England looking to push the pace. And there's a delayed whistle. .253 to go in this first quarter. All right, get the ball back to England here as we actually have our first woman up situation. Changes for both sides. And England to put it in play. Great ball movement. Oh, they had Julia Wise on that backside. Instead, it's a turnover. Now you'll see England try to pressure. Quickly ahead, intercepted by England. Let's see if they can create something. Still woman up. Wise, open on the doorstep, fakes and scores. England ties it up at 1 apiece. 2 players out here for Canada, as England was able to tie it at 1. Ball loose. Kept in the stick there of Wallace. Looking for space. That was deflected on its way to Chandler. That shot waved off because it hit the defender in the shin. That is something that is different if you're used to watching women's lacrosse in the field game, as we see both penalties released. A rope of a shot saved by Halsell. Quickly ahead, Canada back to even strength, and another save, this time by Chandler. The goalie standing tall. Quickly ahead. England trying to track this down before it goes out of bounds, and they keep it in. Pass a little off there for Ripper, but kept alive. Devine. Oh, they've got a player open on that backside. Didn't see her. Shot clock winding down. Opportunity. Halsall kept it out. That might have beat her originally, but she's able to get it before it crosses the line. Megan Kinna pushing it. Wallace. Shot off. Bouncer goes. Shanley Wallace's first of the day. 2-1 Canada. Ripper feeds inside. Another stop by Halsall. How good has she been? Point blank shots, and she has been up to the challenge. Alana Zizakovic, skip pass across. Time winding down in this first quarter. Bouncer now finally breaking through as Canada. That time Erica Evans with her first. 2-goal lead for Canada for the first time. Wise quickly ahead as that one sails wide. And that will bring us to the end of a very entertaining first quarter. Cameron Halsall, the story for Canada, standing on her head. 7 saves for the Canadian keeper. And it's 3-1 Canada after 1. Back in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. Canada, the home team, with a 3-1 lead here as we kick off a full weekend's worth of events here at the World Lacrosse Super Sixes event in Canada. The first Super Sixes event that the Canadians have hosted. We've got Canada, England, and the Haudenosaunee taking part throughout this weekend. Should be a terrific weekend of lacrosse and off to a good start. Canada up 3-1. Travis Eldridge back with you as we get ready to start this second quarter on Lax Sports Network. And if you're just joining us, how good was the Canadian keeper Cameron Halsall? 7 saves in that first quarter, standing on her head. That is why Canada has that 3-1 lead, as we will have England after Canada started with the ball in the first quarter. No draw here. It'll be England who gets to start with it here to start the second. The only person to beat Halsall today, Julie Wise. That shot too high and out of bounds. As we were talking about, if you're not familiar with sixes lacrosse, as soon as that ball goes over the end line, it's just who touched it last. Has nothing to do whether it's a shot or a pass. It's immediately a turnover. Equally as good so far has been Emily Chandler in goal. She's given up 3 goals, but she comes up with another save and keeps it a 2-goal game. 4th save for Chandler. That shot just off the hip of Halsall and out of play again. Another missed shot gives it back to Canada. Canada in the white pennies here at home. England in the red. Three different goal scorers so far for Canada. Evans, Kinna, and Wallace. Kinna and Evans both part of Team Canada this summer as that one bounces over the cage. Evans part of both the World Championship and World Games teams this summer. So was Kinna, so both of them played for that gold medal winning World Games team for Canada. Such an unbelievable performance by Canada to win gold in the World Games. Their first ever gold medal on the women's side at the senior level. Another stop by Halsall. See her athletic ability too coming out of the crease. That really is what we saw throughout the World Games on both the men's and women's side. A really big part of this. They have a whistle on Canada that'll give it to England. Ella Cohen brings it across midfield. Looking to get something going across the top of the box. Instead, Wise looking for another goal. She has one, the only one for England. Cohen. Now from behind the cage. Cohen wrapping around. Bouncer, and she finally solves Housel. England strikes first here in the second to cut the lead to 1. Nice duck under by Chevrolet. And a better save by Chandler. Chance for England to tie it here early in the second. And we will have a timeout for England. We'll keep it here. Head coach Phil Collier, who leads just about every one of these women senior national teams, whether it's on the field side or now in the sixes version of the sport, wants to talk things over with this roster of players. Julie Wise and Ella Cohen with the 2 goals so far. England has really embraced this sixes version of the sport. We've seen it now last year. We're going to see it again here coming up this year, using what they call the tournament The Fly as a way to really get all these players playing this version. Really entertaining. We had a bunch of the games on Lax Sports Network this past year of The Fly in the UK. They picked teams, had some of the best players across the United Kingdom come together for an event. They picked teams and really put on a fun display. We saw some great highlights out of The Fly, and that's something they're going to do again here in the upcoming year. Ball dropped by Emily Gray. Ball's loose. Picked up by Canada. Coming out with it is Kinna. Terrific player in her collegiate days in Northwestern, and helped Canada win gold in the World Games. Another save by Chandler. Had a whistle there, though. And it looks like it's a woman up situation for Canada for the first time. Trigger it in around midfield. This is just 1 player down. See the 4 defenders here for the Canadians against the 5 offensive, for the English against the 5 offensive players for the Canadians. Great angle. That shot just hooked wide. Ella Malik had a good look at that, just couldn't get it on frame. Try to kill off the rest of this penalty. I believe that was Julie Wise who got sent to the box. Deflected, intercepted, chance at a breakaway, but Zizakovic couldn't get it out of her stick. Had a wide open Canadian player ahead, and now England trying to kill off some clock. And a saunter has it stripped away. Erica Evans with the takeaway there. Pushing it ahead, Annabelle Child on the long outlet. Feeds across. That was a good look. Instead, it's England that ends up with it. Here comes Thomas. Finds Whittle. Megan Whittle. There's a goal-scoring machine at Maryland. She's got her first, and we're tied at 3. Maryland's all-time leading goal scorer, nearly 300 in her collegiate career. And part of World Championship teams for England here the last couple of times, including this past one here in 2022. Great move and a finish. Canada right back on top. About 3 minutes to go in this first half. 4-3 Canadians. Skip pass intercepted. Great anticipation there. Trying to go end to end, and it's taken away. That last goal for Canada, scored by Megan Kinna. Goal number 2 for Kinna so far today. Got another player up, woman up situation for the Canadians, and they cash in this time. Near side, Kruger. Looking to solve this defense. Evans gives it up to Zizakovic. Looking down on the crease. A stop by Chandler. That was a great look, just a better save. Delana Williams had an opportunity. Now 7 saves for Chandler in this first half. Bray finds a cutting player. His shot's just high from Wise. It's the right idea, though, for England. Really spread out the defense. You cut somebody through the middle. Good opportunity. Wise just couldn't cash in. Briar Hogg in there. Back to even strength. Pass comes through. Keeping hold of it is MacArthur. Now she floats it across. Long range shot from Kinna, just wide. Looking for her hat-trick goal here in this first half, as that was deflected by an English player on its way through, in which case that'll be a Canadian possession, it looks like, as Canada calls a timeout. I'm going to talk things over here with a 1-goal lead. Minute 26, just under 90 seconds to play in this first half. As we were talking about at the beginning, it is fast-moving, it's quick. Sean Williams leading the way for Canada, a guy who knows a little bit about playing in tight spaces. First ballot NLL Hall of Famer this past year, obviously had a terrific career in the NLL. Now the head coach and general manager of the Las Vegas Desert Dogs, the expansion team in the National Lacrosse League. So he is, after this, gearing up for his first training camp with Las Vegas. Look to try to compete right away. Had a chance to catch up with him earlier this week. So interesting to talk to a guy like that, because we saw Canada, both on the women's side and the men's side, use some of those box tactics in the World Games in sixes and have it really work. But he mentioned, you know, you kind of borrow something from field, you borrow a little bit from the box game, and just try to figure out what works best. So we're back to even strength here. Canada trying to strike again. Zizakovic collects somehow, decides to kick it back out. Still a little bit of time on the shot clock. Evans. Now Kruger. Down to 7 seconds on that shot clock. Rolling around, Kinna has it deflected by Chandler out of bounds, but because it touched the goalie, a fresh 30-second shot clock, and it's out of bounds off of England, so Canada keeps. Another chance at a possession. You don't see a lot of these long extended possessions in sixes. Zizakovic can't collect it. Loose ball. Ripper had a bead on it. Still has a bead on it, and she finally picks it up. Canada tries to take it right back as that ball is pushed forward. And it looks like we've got a foul call. It's going to be on Canada. 20.8 seconds to go in this first half. England a possession. They don't even have the full shot clock to work. Got to go quickly. Woman up situation. Can they cash in? And they do. We're all tied at 5. Anna Neville with her first, or excuse me, all tied at 4. Canada trying to answer back. Short time, Child. And she will just hold on to it. And after 16 minutes, we are tied at 4. Back and forth action so far to kick off this World Lacrosse Super Sixes event in Oshawa. We'll step aside when we come back. Third quarter action, England and Canada tied at 4. Second half just beginning here in Oshawa, Ontario. Travis Eldridge back with you here on LSN. Game tied at 4 between Canada and England. Canada in the white starts with possession here in the third. Great look there. Shot high for Matsuoka. Didn't touch anybody from England, so it's out of bounds, and the English will get it. What a first half for Emily Chandler. 8 first-half saves. Goalie for England starts with the shot that's wide and gets her team a possession. Ella Malik dances through some trouble. No space there for Whittle. Wise keeps it in on the end line. Tries to get it back. She does, collects it. And it's kept alive here for England. Good pressure by Shawnlee Wallace, number 22 for Canada. You can see the defensive intensity for the Canadians really picking up there on that possession. First of 2 games for Canada tonight. We'll have the second one, 8:30 Eastern Time against the Haudenosaunee. Be the Haudenosaunee team's first game of the Super Sixes event. All 3 teams back in action tomorrow as well for 3 games, and we finish things up on Sunday. Kinna, 2 goals already. This one she couldn't get by Chandler. Kinna, the only multi-goal scorer for either team. 4 different goal scorers for England. Ripper looking to make it 5, but her shot's wide. Along with involving a number of players who played in the World Championships or the World Games for Great Britain, England also has a kind of youthful feel to this roster. Good strong take there by Child. She elects to go behind the cage instead of shooting. Matsuoka. Bouncer, and Canada is back on top. First goal for the native of Calgary. Matsuoka plays her collegiate ball at Oregon with her first goal. Halsall with a stop to keep it a 1-goal lead. Briar Hogg able to get the possession back here for Canada. Turned around here on the sideline. A little miscommunication as Child has to go back to get it. And that went out of bounds. So a costly error gives it right back to England. Emily Gray to trigger it in from the far side. Whittle, that's a no-look pass, and it goes over the sideline. You can see the lines drawn on. It is a tight area. Not a lot of room. A 70 by 36 meter field. Emphasis 4 sixes. Fewer stoppages in play, which we've certainly seen in the tempo of the game, which we continue to see. Good take there by Evans, just couldn't beat Chandler again. Also, the big thing of the women's version of sixes, there's no shooting space call. It's up to the offensive player, their responsibility to keep the defenders safe. So if it hits a defensive player, shot gets waved off. So you can see some riskier shots, but it's up to the offensive player to make sure that it gets through all the traffic. Past the midway point of this third quarter. 8-minute running time quarters in sixes. Chevery gives it up. Ball poked free. Chandler out of the crease. Wrestling for it. Trying to scoop it back into the crease. Shot clock is going to wind down and go out anyway, so England possession. Great pass. Better save. Halsall. Again, point blank, just matching sticks. Double-digit saves now for the Stony Brook keeper. Up by midfield, that's Delana Williams. Good spin move by Wallace, trying to feed it. Instead, it's deflected. Another shot clock violation gives it back to England. Whittle quickly on the restart. She takes a shot, loses her goggles. We play on. Don't see that very often. A little bit of zone look here from Canada, and it works. Picked up by Kinna, all by herself, but it's poked from behind by Whittle. Great effort to get back. Looked like Kinna was all by herself ahead of the pack, but Whittle just a little poke check to get it free. Cohen already with a goal today. Can't get two as Halsall again makes the stop. She is really impressing me tonight. Evans. And a timeout for Canada. Coach Sean Williams wants to talk things over, up by 1. A minute 40 seconds to go in this third quarter. Cameron Halsall, member of Canada's World Championship team this summer, has played a couple of seasons now at Stony Brook. Played in 11 games last year for the Seawolves. But she has been part of, she was part of the real big breakthrough for Canada, the national team for lacrosse on the women's side. That came back in 2015. She was the starting goalie for the U19 Canadian women's team. That was the first women's team for Canadian lacrosse to win a gold medal. That U19 team beat the United States in 2015 in the gold medal game. Huge moment, and then got to celebrate another big moment in the World Games this summer as they won their first gold medal on the women's side at the senior level. Reigning gold medalists will have possession, up by 1 here late in the third. Wallace. Turned back, Chevery. Cross crease pass, saved by Chandler. Actually, Matsuoka was in the crease. Tried to tiptoe it on that near side. Emily Gray feeds, squeezes that pass in, but again, it's Halsall. 4 saves in this third quarter alone. She's up into double digits. Wallace splitting through everybody. Chandler with the stop. Kinna battling with Wise for the loose ball. Instead, it's Williams who picks it up. Kept away. Kruger gives it up. Now back to Williams. Near side, Kinna gets free. They forgot about her. Weaves her way through. Maybe a couple too many steps. But she's going to draw a whistle. And a couple of changes here for Canada as the Canadians will go player up. Alice Ripper going to the box. 24 seconds to go in the quarter. Woman up situation for Canada. Wallace has it back at the top. Feeds down low, shot up high, and Williams cashes in, her first. The lane of Williams makes it 6-4 Canada. Time winding down here in the third. Gray has to go quick. Wide open, Wise walks in, shoots it wide. And that is how the third quarter will end. So Canada scores 2, keeps England off the board in the third quarter. And the Canadians have a 6-4 lead. We'll go to the fourth when we come back from Oshawa, Ontario. Travis Eldridge back here on Lax Sports Network, World Lacrosse Super Sixes. We get ready for the start of the fourth quarter, the first of a bunch of games here on LSN this weekend. Reminder, we'll be back with Canada and the Haudenosaunee at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. The second and final game here on Friday night. 2 more games Saturday. This English team will play to the Haudenosaunee starting at 10 a.m. Then play Canada again at noon. Canadians and Haudenosaunee play for the second time at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. England and Haudenosaunee finishing the round-robin play on Sunday before the gold medal game between the top 2 teams at noon Eastern Time to round out a busy weekend of lacrosse here from Oshawa, Ontario. Canada starts with possession, woman up, as now we're back to even strength. They shut out Canada in that third quarter after a 4-4 tie was your score at the half. Another save by Emily Chandler, now up to 12 saves so far today. England has some issues with it, and that's a turnover in their own end. Gives it right back to the Canadians. Matsuoka. Child, near side, gets free and scores. 3 in a row for the Canadians as Annabelle Child has her first. Neville has 1. That ball is poked free. Saunter trying to feed it across, and that will trigger the delayed penalty. It'll be England going woman up. A 5-on-4 lacrosse here. For 1 minute. Reminder, all penalties non-releasable. So you can score a couple of goals. If you score, then you also get to get a stop. It's not like in the normal field game when you could then win a draw and get a possession back. Whittle scores. She goes up top. Her second of the day. First multi-goal scorer here for England. That was a much-needed goal. First of the second half. Canada try to kill off as much of this penalty as they can. Intercepted. Great anticipation. She forgot the ball, though. Oh, that was a great pick. Emily Beasley just couldn't come up with the possession. This is Evans. Gets that right hand free, drives in, bouncer with the left, went back to it, and it's wide. Evans with a goal in the first half. Only multi-goal scorer for Canada, Megan Kinna with a pair. All sent behind, that's where Julie Wise attacks.
Let's go White, come on defense!
Ray. Long range shot is wide and out of bounds. Ella Cohen tried to keep it in there for a second, just no chance.
So, the answer is no.
Pass low for Kruger. She collects though. Gets through and shoots wide. Pretty good look there for Zoe Kruger. Just looking for her first. Entering her freshman season at Stony Brook after playing at the Hill Academy in high school, native of Orangeville, Ontario, not too far from here. Devine has it poked away by Kinna. One-on-one play here for Kinna. Who's going to win the battle? Goes out of bounds, and I think that was last touch by England. Kinna was one-on-one with Ella Cohen. Cohen did a good job to slow her down. Kruger has it poked out of bounds. Strong play defensively. Couple minutes gone by here in the fourth. Canada's still up by 2. England needs a goal here. Time starting to run out. Tough look inside, comes out to Kruger. Nice job splitting the 2 England defenders. Chevry gives it up here on the near side to Child. Give and go. Beautiful. Chevry with her first. Remember, the Syracuse Orange getting on the scoreboard makes it 8-5, and that 3-goal advantage may be enough. 3:10 to go. Chevry, a player that actually kind of perfect for this format. A player that started her collegiate career on the offensive side of things. This past year transitioned to more of a defensive player for the Orange. But having both of those skills, super important in sixes where you're definitely playing both ways. Woman up situation for Canada again. Evans. Doorstep, Zingo gives it up. Great look, better save. Williams had it on the doorstep, but Chandler keeps it out. However, Canada keeps the possession. They track it down. Evans has it now back at the top. Long range shot and it squeezes in. Erica Evans with her second. Her and Kinna leading the way. Canada with its largest lead of the game at 4. Neville. And that was some miscommunication. Wise wasn't looking for it. Lana Zingo defended here around midfield. Near side, MacArthur. Chevry shoots wide. At this point, if you're Canada, just eat up some shot clocks. Walk away with a win here to kick off this Super Sixes event. About 90 seconds to go here in the 4th. That feed couldn't get through all the Canadian sticks. Numbers instead, it's Saunter getting back and making the play. So Canada going to move to 1-0 here in the Super Sixes event as Whittle gets her third. She was quiet early, but now 3 goals for the former Maryland Terrapin. As we're under a minute to go in a 3-goal game, Canada calls timeout. On timeout's just 30 seconds, so we'll keep it here. Canada beating Great Britain in the World Games. Actually, interestingly enough, in this Super Sixes event, it's very similar to what we saw in group play in the World Games in Birmingham, Alabama this summer. The Haudenosaunee, Great Britain, and Canada all in the same group. Canada came out of that group without losing, including a 16-9 win over Great Britain. And while they haven't scored quite as many goals here today, they've gotten a terrific defensive performance from goalie Cameron Halsall. Had 8 saves in the first half, now up to double digits here on the game. And that's been a big reason why Canada has a 3-goal advantage. I mean, you'd see some of the saves that Halsall has made. England has had some terrific looks for head coach Phil Collier. Just have not been able to cash in. 12 saves for Halsall now. 8 of them in the first half, and this, I mean, you look at where we were at halftime, a 4-4 tie with some of the opportunities that England had. It very well could have been an English lead at the break. Instead of 4-4 tie, and Canada kind of putting the pedal to the metal in the 3rd quarter. Held England scoreless in the 3rd quarter. They have a 3-goal lead here in the 4th. A little bit of a matchup zone type of defense here for England. They got through it. Kinna was wide open there on the doorstep, just couldn't make the catch. Ball loose, coming back is Ripper. She collects. Good anticipation there. MacArthur read it. 3-on-none, and MacArthur cashes in on the breakaway. Now 20 seconds to go as Skylar MacArthur gets her first goal of the night. Double digits for Canada. And they have possession. They can run out the clock. 14 seconds. Going to move to 1-0 here in the World Lacrosse Super Sixes. They'll have a brief break, and they will be back in action at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time against the Haudenosaunee. Looking for one more? No. Chandler tosses it the distance, and that will do it. Canada wins the first game here of the inaugural World Lacrosse Super Sixes in Oshawa, Ontario. 10-6 your final. Couple of multi-goal scorers for the Canadians as Megan Kinna and Erica Evans, each with a pair. A bunch of different players getting in on the scoring act, and they have to be thrilled about the performance of Cameron Halsall in goal. 12 saves for the goalie from Stony Brook, as the teams will get together here and appreciate each other for a terrific matchup. It was a great way to kick things off and should be a sign of things to come here the rest of the weekend. Reminder, we will be back here 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Haudenosaunee taking on Canada. As for England, they get a little break here the rest of the evening. They'll return to action tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time when they will face the Haudenosaunee for the first time. But for now, we say so long here from Oshawa, Ontario. We'll be back in just about an hour to continue this World Lacrosse Super Sixes. But for now, for our entire crew, I'm Travis Eldridge. We say so